Have you ever felt that little twinge, that weird symptom, and then suddenly you're hours deep into a Google rabbit hole? You're definitely not alone. So today, we're going to break down a really powerful discussion on how to stop that cycle of health anxiety for good. Let's dive in.
Man, this quote just hits so close to home, right? It's that feeling of being completely stuck in a spiral, even when there's a little voice in your head saying, hey, this is just anxiety. It's maddening. And what's fueling this whole thing? Well, it often comes down to one specific behavior, something we call reassurance seeking.
And that's where we get to the real trap here. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? The one thing we all do to try and feel better, looking for answers, is actually the very thing that keeps the anxiety machine running. And look, this is way more than just a bad habit. Every single time you search for a symptom, you're sending a direct message to your brain that says, see, there is a threat. We need to stay on high alert. You're basically training your nervous system to be permanently on edge. This little diagram shows it perfectly. It's a feedback loop from hell, really. You feel something weird, you search for it, and maybe you get a quick, tiny sigh of relief. But here's the kicker. Your nervous system doesn't get the memo to calm down. It stays on red alert, which just makes you even more sensitive to the next symptom, and boom, the loop starts all over again. And it usually feels even worse the next time around. So what actually kicks this whole thing off? Well, the community discussion really zeroed in on two main culprits that get this engine revving. So you've got these triggers coming from both the outside and the inside. On one hand, you've got social media algorithms that are frankly a little too smart for their own good. They see you looking at health stuff and they just keep feeding it to you, pulling you right back in. But on the other hand, you have your own body reacting to all this stress with real physical symptoms. I'm talking chest tightness, that weird jelly legs feeling, even enlarged lymph nodes. And then your anxious brain sees that and thinks, oh no, it's a new disease. And the cycle gets a massive push forward. Okay, so how do we actually get out of this thing? The good news is it's not just about knowing the problem. There's a really clear, actionable path forward that the community laid out, a simple step-by-step approach to take your control back. And listen, this isn't just some random advice from the internet. As one of the moderators pointed out, this whole idea might be tough to actually do, but it's totally legit. It lines up perfectly with proven, evidence-based therapies that are all about one thing: stopping the habit of reassurance seeking. So here it is, the three-step game plan. First, you get a clean bill of health from a doctor to create a safe baseline. Second, you set some firm boundaries for your worry using something called the 1-month rule. And third, you actively start to retrain your brain's knee-jerk reaction. Okay, this 1-month rule is an absolute game changer. The idea is just so simple and so powerful. A new symptom pops up, you make a deal with yourself to just sit with it for 1 month. No Googling, no obsessing. What's so brilliant about this is it gives all those fleeting, anxiety-fueled sensations time to just disappear. If it's still hanging around after a month, fine, then you can think about calling a doctor. It's a super practical way to filter out the noise. And this, right here, is where the hard work really pays off. You feel that symptom, and that old familiar urge to search starts screaming at you. This is the moment you have to make a choice. Instead of feeding the fear, you pivot. You just do something normal. And normal can be anything. Play a game that needs your focus, like chess or Tetris. Call a friend and talk about anything else. Go do your hobby. Heck, just take a deep breath. And what happens when you do this over and over? You're literally teaching your brain that these feelings aren't dangerous alerts. They're just background noise. And eventually, your brain gets the message and starts filing them straight into your mental spam folder. So when you put this all together, it's about a huge shift in how you think. Getting better isn't about wishing you'll never feel a weird thing in your body ever again. Because, let's be real, that's impossible. It's about fundamentally changing how you react when you do. Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it might sound a little backward at first, but it is the absolute key to getting your life back from the clutches of anxiety. Just let that one sink in for a second. Think about it. All that frantic searching, all that worry, it's all driven by this desperate need to have 100% control over your body. The great paradox is that real freedom, real control, comes when you finally accept that you can't control every little sensation. The moment you let go of that impossible goal, you cut off the anxiety's fuel supply. And that right there is how you finally, truly take your life back.